Hello and welcome to week 8 of Marea and Friends.
And we are extremely thrilled to be here this week with violinist Caitlin Edwards. I met Caitlin at the National Repertory Orchestra in Breckenridge, Colorado in 2018, and Amelia will be performing there in the summer of 2021. It is such a wonderful summer festival, and I have had really great memories with a lot of my friends, including Caitlin, that I met there since the program.
And before we get started, I just want to remind you of the $5 optional virtual ticket, and the link is posted in the description of this video.
And also in the description of this video, we have a link to our survey. So if you have any thoughts or ideas, or you want to see more of something in the next episode, which just so happens to be on Halloween, just give us a response and we will be sure to take a look at it.
Here's a little bit about Caitlin. So Caitlin Edwards began studying the violin at the age of 8 through the Music Opportunity Program in Birmingham, Alabama. In 2018, she was awarded the Rising Star Award from the Gateways Music Festival and helped lead the Nairobi Philharmonic in Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker, the first live ballet orchestra production in Kenyan history. She also recorded the movie score for Disney movie The Lion King in April 2019. She's performed and recorded behind artists such as Ms. Lauryn Hill, John Legend, Common, Yolanda Adams, India Ari, and etc. She has had the pleasure to perform with orchestras such as the Chicago Sinfonietta, Grant Park Orchestra, the National Repertory Orchestra, and Recollective Orchestra. Caitlin was featured as a soloist in the Dreams of Hope documentary, which premiered on PBS stations across the U.S. in early 2020. Caitlin is a graduate of DePaul University, receiving her master's with distinction.
And in this week, we will be talking about the theme of finding your flow with Caitlin. And that is something that I think a lot of people have really struggled with during this time of so much uncertainty and you can't plan anything. So this is just going to be a good talk that can kind of ground us about how we can really find more rhythm and ways to kind of soothe ourselves and find our flow during these times. Before we carry on with the rest of the Marea and Friends episode number 8, we are very excited to announce the Marea Duo's first competition, and it just so happens to be a pumpkin decorating competition to get in the spooky spirits for Halloween. And the pumpkins will be submitted via email, but Amelia will talk about that, and the pumpkins will be judged on 4 main categories: expression, creativity, humor, and intricacy. And we really look forward to seeing what you create. And
so please email a picture or pictures of your pumpkin to mariadoublereads@gmail.com, and those entries are due October 29th at 11:59 p.m. And there is no entry fee, so
why not?
Yeah,
And we will be selecting 2 winners. The first prize winner will be getting featured on episode 9 of Marea and Friends, and all you need to be is 30 minutes available on October 30th. It's easy to remember, 30/30. And you will also get to pick something of your choosing from the Marea store on our website. And then the honorable mention will get some free merch from the Marea store as well. And more details will come. We will be posting some stuff about this very shortly.
So get in the spooky spirit and start decorating your pumpkins. The first performance on tonight's episode will be Gordon Jacobs' 3 Little Pieces, movements 2 and 3. So you have probably noticed that we've been playing the same sort of theme song at the beginning of every episode, and that is actually movement 1 of Gordon Jacobs' 3 Little Pieces. So we are finally going to complete the entire work with movements 2 and 3. Movement 2 is slow and lyrical, and movement 3 has a little bit more energy. And they're both short, cute little pieces. So.
And going along with the program's theme tonight, Finding Your Flow, movement 2 and 3 will just kind of flow right after our theme song that we've been using every week. So it will kind of just draw all the pieces together.
So we hope you enjoy.
Hey, here we are, week 8, with violinist Caitlin Edwards, and I'm so excited for this week, particularly because this week brings me back to being in my room with Caitlin for NRO in Breckenridge, Colorado. And we were the best roomies. So we're really excited for this episode. She's a phenomenal artist.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much for having me. I appreciate it. Glad to be here. Glad to meet you for the first time, be reunited with Delaney.
Yeah. No, it's been great to meet you and connect with you.
And watch your videos. It's so incredible.
Mm-hmm.
You've been really making wonderful art during this virtual world.
I know. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess we'll get started. And the first question we have for you is if you could just tell us a little bit about your personal musical journey, kind of how you started playing the violin and how you got to where you are today.
Okay, cool. So, music has always been a passion of mine. I grew up singing in the church from a young age, And at the age of 8, my third grade teacher reached out to my family and was like, hey, I think Caitlin would be good for this class. There was a nonprofit organization in my hometown of Birmingham, Alabama. They were going into local elementary schools and giving free group lessons. So I participated in that. I did group lessons for 3 years, started private lessons, then began attending the performing arts junior high/high school in Birmingham. Went there, attended summer music festivals. Through those years, I then went to undergrad at the University of Louisville and did my graduate degree at DePaul in Chicago. And so that's where I'm currently based now. Music in general here, it's great. The longer I live here, the more exposed I am to different genres, different groups all across the city. Chamber music is popping. There's a lot of different groups here.
Yeah.
It's a great place to be. Yeah, it's really a little bit of everything. At one point, I was a fellow with the Chicago Sinfonietta, so I was doing a lot of performing with them and some regional orchestras. But now, especially since we're in the pandemic, I'm
Yeah.
doing a lot of remote recording from home, some chamber music with my group Decompose, and I've been able to play with a few different ensembles like Fifth House and Dal Niente this week. So it's been interesting
That's
and fun.
awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds like you have just like a very exciting, like little like dip your toes in every little thing, which is
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah. And what are some of your, I guess, since you're doing so many projects and like I keep up with Caitlin on Facebook and see what she's been up to, and I feel like you're always collaborating with someone, and like you have that really great energy for wanting to create things with people. So I was just kind of wondering if you have any advice for the people that are viewing tonight on what it means to be a good virtual colleague and how we can still be creating art during this time.
Yeah, I think it's collaborating is so great because you have your own ideas and your own passions and your own gifts, and you combine that with that of someone else's. It's really, most times, it's a great recipe.
Yeah.
I would suggest, I guess, being open. Um, you never know what can result of something. You might have an idea for what a song would sound like, but then this person says, "Hey, why don't we play this in six instead of eight?" I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
vibing. I guess being open, communication is great. Yeah.
And what has been one of your favorite virtual collaborations that you've done
Yeah.
over this time?
Virtual collaboration. I'm trying to think. Um, I've been doing a lot of remote recording work, and some of it has been like collaborating with singers and me, like recording my part, but somebody writes the part and puts together all the music and the gets with the singer, and that's been great. We did this arrangement of Smile, and Shalaya, an amazing singer, she sang it, and that was beautiful. I've been able to play like some free jazz, contemporary
Ooh,
music
Nice.
thing. We did a recording outdoors. There's an installation in Jackson Park. It is the Ahsoka Gardens.
Mm-hmm.
Yoko Ono, she did the installation, and it's these like they're huge petals like coming out of the ground, metal. All of them are
Yeah.
metal, and so an amazing composer, Angel Batdaweed, she wrote the music and we played it outside, and it was a beautiful experience. I believe it was on PBS, but it was hosted through the Art Institute. So,
Wow.
Wow. That's so
That's
cool.
so cool.
Hello, my name is Caitlin Edwards, and I am so delighted to be joining you this evening for this virtual concert. So, I'm going to start off by telling you what piece I'm going to play and a little bit about that piece. So, this piece that I'm going to play for you is called Evolution, and it's by a dear friend of mine, Edward W. Hardy. He's an awesome violinist and composer located in New York City. I'm just going to read a little bit about what he said about the piece. He was inspired most by Wade in the Water, the Negro spiritual, because of its history of secret codes embedded in the music that gave guidance to slaves as they embarked on their journey to freedom using the Underground Railroad. Through our history of classical, jazz, blues, and hip hop music, Evolution uses fragments of Wade in the Water as a tribute to those who gave us freedom. The piece was composed and performed for the Congressional Black Caucus at the Howard Theater in Washington, D.C., and it was part of the opening of the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. This is Evolution, and I hope you enjoy.
I know that you've like played on, I think, what was it, like John Legend's album or something like that? That's so cool. But I was wondering, with things like that, do you, I guess right now it's mostly everybody's kind of remote and they record their part and send it, or is there a studio that you go to, or what? How does that exactly work?
Yeah.
I guess I'm just curious.
So with the John Legend album, we did that during the pandemic. That was actually my first, remote recording.
Yeah. What a way to start out, let's just say.
It was kind of crazy. I bought the equipment, like an interface and mic, so I could work on my own music. And then I got the call to do this, and I was like, okay, let me really learn how to work Logic, how to use Logic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked out. It was the way they set it up, it was every other day we would send in two songs and we would record. So I'm a violinist, so I have to record first and second violin.
Wow.
And so do some stacks of that, send in our files, have another day off, and then record again. And we did 7 songs total.
Wow. So do you get to listen to what's been created as you go along, or do you just send it in and say, all right, this is what it's going to be?
So usually they'll send, or in that case, he sent the track. So usually like maybe drums, piano, keys. He sent the string track, maybe like a Sibelius file, something like that.
Yeah.
Matt playing the strings, and I could tune that way, match my
Gotcha.
recordings. Yeah. Most of the recordings he sent did not have vocals, but one of them did, and that was like one of the highlights of that week. Just being able to hear his vocals while I record. It was cool.
Yeah.
And it seems like you kind of have the home recording studio set up down, like especially if you're sending in violin parts to John Legend's album. So like what is your setup for mics and how you're doing it? Because everything that we've seen of yours is such high quality, and I feel like that's something that musicians really should be striving for if they can during this time.
Most definitely. So my first that package I ordered when I decided I wanted to get the things, it included a bundle that included an AudioBots interface, a mic AT2020 by Audio-Technica, and a mic stand. I was recording on my super, super old MacBook from like 2011. It was crazy. And so recently I've been able to upgrade to a better interface. I currently play on a Universal Audio Aero interface.
Okay.
It's nice. It's like actually right here.
Ooh.
Oh, nice. Cool.
It's nice. I got a great deal on it.
Yeah.
The mic I play on now is a Newman TLM 102.
Ooh. Do you have that by you too? I want to see it. Do you have it by you? I want to see it.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to get one of
We
those
need to
mic
get
stands. That's so
Oh,
cool.
that's really nice.
Yeah.
It's cool. A good friend actually gave it to me as a gift. So it's really sweet.
That's a good friend.
I know, seriously. And then, do you ever have issues with, I mean, in Chicago, I feel like loud city noises.
Yeah.
Do you ever, do you just have to wait for those to end or, redo the take or something, or?
Yes. All of it.
You can't have a car beeping in the album or something,
Exactly. It's crazy. I never realized how loud my neighborhood was
Yeah.
until the pandemic. I mean, even a car. I can hear a car right now coming down the road.
Yeah.
Um, and I live right by the train. So
Oh,
Oh. So like you do know like set times like I can't record at this time or things like that because of the train schedule.
I don't even, in terms of the train, it usually comes every like 5 or 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's gotta get a take.
it's what it is. Sometimes when they're like mowing the grass or somebody's screaming, I just have to stop, breathe, like, okay, stop screaming eventually.
Yeah.
Okay. So I definitely have to work around the neighborhood noises outside.
Yeah. Like, why doesn't everyone know my recording schedule? Come on.
Exactly. Sometimes I want to scream out the window.
Yeah.
I'm like, shut up,
Yeah.
fix your brakes.
Yeah.
The next piece that I'm going to be performing for you is titled Good to You. And it's by a really good friend of mine, Marcus Norris. He is a composer and PhD candidate at UCLA currently. So I asked him, okay, what was your inspiration for this piece? I was really curious about the title. So this is what he sent me. Good to you is somewhere in between. I promised to be good to you. Have I not been good to you? And was it good to you? I wanted to make the performance feel as if the audience is hearing the soloist's inner monologue spilling out. The music is like replaying fragments of past conversations, contemplating things you've said, things you should have said, and the right ways to say them when you get the chance. The tone ranges from sweetly soft to passionately loud, but it's always with love. This is good to you.
Okay, so could you tell us a little bit about your experience with forming Decomposed in Chicago and kind of what that chamber ensemble, correct, entails and kind of your mission as a group and how, yeah, so how people can learn a little bit more about you and the group.
Yeah. So when I came to Chicago, I was contacted by Danielle Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
She's an awesome violist, violinist, teacher. She literally does it all to do a performance. And it was a performance of all Black composers, like some Florence Price, William Grant Still, um, and we did it in this so it's a cafe, but it used to be a currency exchange back in the day.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's
really
cool.
cool. It's on the south side, and it was a beautiful experience because it was intimate. The audience members were very close. We
Mhm.
had food, curated cocktails,
Yeah.
and just good, like, I think we had an icebreaker, but it wasn't an awkward icebreaker. It was just like, hey, relax. We're here to have a good time,
Wait,
chill.
before the music started?
Icebreaker, yeah.
That's
That's awesome.
awesome.
Ah,
Yeah,
cool.
that's really cool.
Yeah. And Decompose was really started by Corey Coleman. She is our executive director. I believe she went to a concert one day, and I think it was an MLK concert, and either no Black composers performed on this concert, or at the same time there were no Black musicians. I think it was Black musicians, but accompanied her. The wheels in her head began to spin, and
Hmm.
she began to ask questions like, why don't I hear about Black composers? Why don't I see Black people in the CSO or on TV playing in these different orchestras? Like, where are the Black people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she reached out to Danielle, who I mentioned before,
Hmm.
and they got together and formed Decompose. And the goals of Decompose is to uplift Black artistry, um, and not just within classical music, but within all genres,
Mm.
and bring this music outside of the concert hall. So we've performed in art galleries, MCA, Soho, nursing homes. We perform in places that you don't normally see a string quartet, a string
Hmm.
ensemble,
Yeah.
and we just try to bring that music to all people from all communities, especially Black communities. It's important that young Black children see and know that, oh, she's playing the violin. She looks like me. I can do this too.
Yeah.
This is possible. And music is important, uplifting Black music. So that's Decomposed in my
Yeah.
word.
That's really cool. Yeah.
And do you have any advice for people to just be more educated about Black composers and Black art in general and just like steps that people can take in their everyday life? Like, obviously, kind of along the lines of what Decompose is doing, but just
Hmm.
like something that I can do tomorrow, or like one of the viewers today can do tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are definitely resources out there. Music by Black composers, I want to say .org,
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
by Rachel Barton Pine. There's composerdiversity.com that's a really cool website because they organize by gender sometimes, by race, by the type of piece, the type of ensemble. That's really cool. But also, I mean, Googling right now. I
Yeah.
know it's simple, but Google this stuff. People are writing articles, orchestras are programming, and the
Hmm.
resources are out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to tap into it.
Yeah.
It's out there. You just gotta put in a
hunt
little
for it.
effort.
Yeah. And it's always been out there. That's the thing.
It's always been out there. Now it's a trend to want to program, Black composers with everything that's going on social justice wise.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the information has been out there
Yeah.
Yeah.
and accessible.
Accessible, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Music is power,
Yeah.
honestly. And when people's voices can be heard, especially the voices of people that have been suppressed for so long, is definitely empowering.
Yeah.
So do it, y'all. Get out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Program music.
The next piece on the program is Oblivion by Astor Piazzolla. Piazzolla was an Argentinian composer who revolutionized the style of nuevo tango, or new tango, by incorporating jazz and other popular musical idioms into the traditional Argentinian music style. Oblivion was written as the score for a movie in 1984, and it is in the style of the milonga, which is a dance that precedes the Argentinian tango. Oblivion has been adapted for many instrumentations, including this duet that has been arranged by Dylan Feldpausch.
Well, let's just start asking some other questions.
Yeah.
These are just gonna be chill questions.
Just hit me with them.
Yeah, we're just gonna hit you with some questions. So, what makes you feel fearless as a performer, or when you feel like you're in flow? And what makes you get to that state? Because I feel like your playing is so beautiful, and you just feel like you're at one with your instrument, and I feel like that's like a lot of people would want to emulate that in their own playing. So
so believe it or not, usually when I'm performing, I'm nervous. Heart is beating, my hands are probably sweating, sometimes I shake, and people always say, "Oh, I couldn't tell that you were nervous." I guess maybe it's my facial expressions, I don't know. Um, but I try to focus on the music. I try to tell a story. Almost, I try to think of it as singing, really, singing from the heart. And maybe, maybe I've always felt that way because my violin is like right here. So,
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
feeling those vibrations and I don't know, it's like cooking a good recipe. You only want so much bow pressure, or you want it to be sweet, so you vibrate this way, or you might,
Yeah.
I just try to tell a story and play the way I sing.
Yeah.
That's great advice.
During the pandemic, when you're kind of in your own space by yourself and there's no live audience right in front of you, how do you find the same inspiration that you would normally find in a live situation from the music, and how do you kind of get into the same sort of flow that you would be in a live performance when you're alone, kind of in your own room?
Yeah. So if I'm recording, I'm generally thinking, okay, somebody's going to listen to this, somebody is going to view this. So I'm still trying to make that connection, music, albeit virtually. Um, as far as me just playing music like by myself for the enjoyment of it, I almost enjoy that more because it's just me. I don't have to deal with my nerves. I can just, express what I'm feeling or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a really good way to look at it too, because I feel like sometimes it's like I miss playing with people, or like I miss being all together, but then also be like, wait, I play this instrument because I enjoy it.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
And I'm going to work on my foundation and have a blast doing it on my own and be able to share it, with other people. But it really needs to come from within. And I feel like that's what you've been saying, is that it really comes from your heart.
Yeah. I think that's something I've been dealing with throughout this whole pandemic, just trying to figure out, why do I love music? Why do I do what I do? Is there a reason? I mean, obviously there is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just really, I feel like this pandemic this has been like a check-in, like, hey, this is what's happening with your life right now.
Yeah.
What do we need to get together? What do we need to fix? What do you want to do? What are you interested in? Do you like reading?
Yeah.
I've been doing yoga.
Really?
And I think about you every single time.
Wait, that makes me so... We need to text about that now. I love that. I remember doing yoga by a little creek in Colorado outside of our apartment.
Yes.
And those chicken wings that we made together.
Oh, wait, what?
I think about those so much. Those chicken wings that we made. We marinated them forever in the fridge. Do you remember that?
What did we use? Like teriyaki sauce or something?
Yep. Teriyaki.
And they were good.
They were good.
They're so good.
Oh my gosh, you guys are so funny. Wait, do you guys have any? This is kind of a double question for you and Delaney. But do you have any like favorite moments or embarrassing moments from Breckenridge?
I remember one night that I came home and we watched The Wiz together. Do you remember that night?
I love the way.
What's it called? Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, for the gala.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I came home, Caitlin was watching The Wiz. Oh, I was so happy about that. That was one of my favorite movies growing up, too.
Yeah.
Ease on down the road. Ease on down.
yeah, we played that
ease on
in Wind
down
Ensemble in
the
my
road.
undergrad. I know, it was like some sort of mashup with like a bunch of songs from The Wiz. It was really cool. It was really fun.
Oh.
Yeah. But
Great.
okay. Oh, sorry.
Wait,
Oh,
are
no,
there,
those
are there any other ones that do you have any from NRO?
I'm trying to think. Did I ever trip down that hill?
Oh yeah, we lived on a high hill.
Oh, really?
I definitely. Oh my god, I tripped down the hill. I remember I wore these sandals that like tied up, and they would always come untied. And one time I was walking to rehearsal in the morning, tripped over the laces, skinned my entire like. I was bleeding. I was bleeding before rehearsal. Not good. Not good. And this was in the morning. Like, not good.
Oh, man. Yikes.
So the final selection that I'll be performing for you this evening is actually a song written by me. This song is titled It's Hell. I wrote it earlier in the pandemic when there was a lot of uncertainty, a lot of craziness happening, and all I could really do was remind myself to breathe. Inhale, exhale. So that's where the name comes from. It's a little different. It combines sort of like a neo-soul sort of feel, maybe jazzy, maybe a little hip-hop. I don't know. So I hope you enjoy Exhale. Thank you.
What do you think is one of the hardest decisions you've ever had to make career-wise and musically, or a moment that was like a turning point or something that was really difficult for you and you really felt that like it was a test of your growth mindset and how you're going to stay in this career?
Okay. So, I think this was last year, and this has happened twice. Um, but I'll tell you about one particular experience. Um, I got a call. Actually, I'll tell you about both of them. I got a call to do a gospel album with gospel artist Kirk Franklin to play strings on that album.
Yeah.
But I was performing with a chamber ensemble, and we already had issues scheduling rehearsals, and I had committed to it. We, squeezed in some rehearsals, and then this gig came up, and I was like, "Are you serious right now? This is one of my favorite gospel artists." But I had to say no because you commit to something, and you just have to do it.
Yeah.
Didn't that happen when we were together? Because you got asked to play on you got asked to play on Tiny Desk when we were in Breckenridge.
Oh,
Sorry
my
for
gosh.
yeah. And she's like, "Oh, I might be going to play in Tiny Desk," and I'm like, "What? I'm just trying to learn my part for this week." Like,
That's great.
Yeah, I was really going to try to make that work. But
Yeah.
Oh.
too much. Sorry, but continue your.
yeah, but things like that, just learning how to balance, figure out what things are like worth, like saying, you should always keep your word. And that's something that I've had to learn over these couple of years, and learning what I should do, what I shouldn't do, and how to prepare best for if I have to say, hey, I can't do this anymore, but I have somebody lined up. They've learned their part, all they got to do is go to rehearsal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like that's such a difficult thing when you're trying to like make a career as a freelancer, because it's like want to do everything. Because I mean, that's kind of what freelancing, it's like all these gigs that very possibly could conflict with one another. That's just like, I feel like a really huge challenge
To juggle.
with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's truly a juggle. I feel like it was even worse before the pandemic.
Yeah.
So many things at once. There were no restrictions, and the cords get tangled sometimes.
Yeah.
And do
Yes.
you have anything that you say to yourself to kind of untangle those cords? Or like those moments where it's like, this is like tied in knots, I can't do it. Like, what's going on? Like, how do you deal with that?
Because, I pray. I try to pray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also tell myself, like, you can do this. You can make it, even more so now.
Yeah.
Before, I feel like I didn't have the tools to really tell myself, hey, you can do this. But these situations have happened over and over, and I've been in some really crazy situations. So I know that I can do these things, and sometimes you just need that motivation from yourself. Like, you have to talk to yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes for me, maybe this is weird, but I sometimes will actually have to say something out loud to myself for me to kind of be motivated or just push to do like one more thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I know that's when I'm doing the best practicing was when I'm talking to myself.
Yeah.
You do talk to yourself.
Oh my god.
When Elaine's just going, she's just talking. I remember, yes.
That's so funny.
I know, in my little corner, in our little room, in the bassoon corner. Oh.
Oh my god.
Sounded amazing back then. You sound amazing now. So it paid.
Yeah, I guess it works. That's so funny.
That just cracked me up. Oh.
Oh man.
I'm trying to think, do we have any other?
All right, I have one more.
Oh, yeah.
One more thing.
Get it, girl.
And maybe we kind of talked about this already, but what is some advice that you would give to a musician who is not feeling inspired during the pandemic and maybe even wants to not pursue music anymore? Do you have anything that you would say to them to kind of get them kick-started back into gear and like more inspired to play music?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, it's totally normal to feel that way right now. Somebody had to tell me that because when the pandemic hit, I wasn't motivated to practice or really play unless I needed to. And I had to take time for myself to really figure out, like I said before, why do I do what I do? Why do I play the violin? What is music to me? And if that involves you listening to your favorite songs, writing, journaling, binge watching a Netflix show, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to take time for yourself because you're human first. You're a human being, and then you're all these other things: father, sister, musician, blah blah blah. Also, maybe dig into those concertos or those pieces that used to excite you.
Yeah.
Listen to it earlier, and well, not too early in the pandemic, but towards the middle, that will help.
Oh, that's awesome advice.
That's what everyone needs to hear, honestly, right now. Well, this has been great.
So much fun.
So much laughter and great conversation tonight.
Yeah, thanks so much for doing this.
Yeah, and being a part of our series and reconnecting. Yeah.
Your energy is just like exactly what we want for our series. It's really
seriously
awesome.
infectious. Like, this brought so much joy to our evening.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
The last piece on the episode tonight is Corin Bailey Rae's Put Your Records On. This song was a lot of fun to put together with Caitlin. You'll hear a lot of different sounds in it, and this song is really about just letting your hair down, chilling out, and, dropping all of your worries and cares.
And finding your flow.
Yeah.
And throughout this collaboration, you will hear how Caitlin actually is using her violin as a percussive instrument as well as a stringed instrument. And the bassoon is kind of dropping a nice lively bass line. The oboe has some backup vocals. And of course, Amelia and I are in harmony throughout the piece and really just belting our hearts out because this has been a piece that both of us have turned to for kind of some inspiration and just good vibes. So we hope that you carry these good vibes of this song with you into the rest of your evening and that you enjoy the concert tonight.
Three little birds sat on my window, and they told me I don't need to worry. Summer came like cinnamon, so sweet. Little girls double dutch on the concrete. Maybe sometimes we've got it wrong, but it's alright. The more things seem to change, the more things stay the same. Ooh, don't you hesitate. Girl, put your records on, tell me your favorite song. Just go ahead, let your hair down. Sapphire and faded jeans, I hope you get your dreams. Just go ahead, let your hair down. You're gonna find yourself somewhere, somehow. Blue as the sky, sunburned and lonely, sipping tea in a bar by the roadside. Don't you let those other boys fool you. Gotta love that afro hairdo. Maybe sometimes we feel afraid, but it's alright. The more you stay the same, the more they seem to change. Don't you think it's strange? Girl, put your records on, tell me your favorite song. You go ahead, let your hair down. Sapphire and faded jeans, I hope you get your dreams. Just go ahead, let your hair down. You're gonna find yourself somewhere, somehow. Just more than I could take. Pity for pity's sake. Some nights kept me awake. I thought that I was stronger. When you gonna realize that you don't even have to try any longer? Do what you want to. Girl, put your records on, tell me your favorite song. You go ahead, let your hair down. Girl, let your hair down. Sapphire and faded jeans, I hope you get your dreams. Just go ahead, let your hair down. Girl, let your hair down. Put your records on, tell me your favorite song. You go ahead, let your hair down. Girl, let your hair down. Sapphire and faded jeans, I hope you get your dreams. Just go ahead, let your hair down. You're gonna find yourself somewhere, somehow.
That concludes week 8 of Marea and Friends. Thank you so much to Caitlin and Karina for your beautiful playing. It's been so much fun putting this episode together with you guys. And please, if you enjoyed tonight's episode, purchase a $5 optional virtual ticket. This really means a lot to us and to the artists involved. It takes a lot of time and effort to put these episodes together, and we really appreciate everyone that has donated so far. And please take just less than a minute to fill out our survey and tell us what you did like or didn't like about the episode. And then next week we will be back again with
Week 9.
Week 9 with Astoria Window.
And Astoria Window is a unique duo featuring harp, ukulele, vocals, and electronics. Trumpet and ukulele player John Shaddle met singing harpist Margaret Davis at Juilliard, and the two began collaborating, composing original music with a focus on texture and counterpoint. The band's mission is to create accessible music for a more popular style while paying homage to their classical roots with the inclusion of harmonic and metric complexity. Not only is Astoria Window a really exciting duo, but it's going to be Halloween, and I just think everyone's going to be in the spirits to listen to an incredible concert. And we're really excited to collaborate with them because we have kind of just dipped our toes into the world of electronics. And they are a duo that is very experienced and knowledgeable. We can't wait to learn from them and have great conversation and collaboration next week.
Yeah, so get ready for very festive and exciting episode on
And speaking
Halloween.
of festive, though, like, don't forget to submit your pumpkin decorating submission.
We're really looking forward to those.
Yeah.
To seeing those.
Halloween is my favorite holiday.
All right. So see you next week.
See you next week. Thanks for watching.